Let's talk with Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Thursday guest here on Halftime. Bob, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing all right.
Doing well.
Appreciate you. So you guys have spoken to Arkansas players and head coach Sam Pittman a few times. You are media. He's the coach. A few times this week. Now done with that. You're feeling pretty good about Saturday against the Rice Owls. And, my thought here, Bob, is that this Razorback team, and we don't expect to see Traylon Burks, probably don't expect to see John Ridgway. And I expect Ridgway to be one of the reasons why the defensive line is tougher and stronger than in previous years and deeper. And Burks, we obviously know what he can do. But it makes you not wonder whether or not they can sort of impose their will against this team. That's what everybody wants to see, Bob, is for Arkansas to impose their will against Rice. I don't know if you could say that, other than maybe Georgia Southern, that there could be another team that, when you're looking at how they look right now, that they can impose their will. That for me is something I'd like to see Saturday against Rice.
Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, Arkansas didn't play any non-conference games last year, and really under Chad Morris, they struggled in non-conference games. It's interesting. Rice is in Conference USA, as is North Texas and West Kentucky, two teams that really beat Arkansas decisively in 2018 and 2019. And but Arkansas was an underdog in every game last season. Managed to win 3 and could have won 2, 3 more. Really won the Auburn game, just not on the scoreboard. But it's interesting because Arkansas was about a 3-touchdown favorite. Last time I looked, I think they were 19 or 20-point favorites. So to me, it'll be interesting to see how they react to being a big favorite. And like you say, can they go out there and really impose their will? I mean, I don't think Rice is a pushover by any means. I think they're a solid team. They got a lot of starters back. They had some success last year. They went to Marshall and shut them out, and Marshall was ranked, and there's a lot of Rice players back. But, this is if you feel like Arkansas has made, they obviously made progress last season. If you feel like they're ready to make more progress, then, this is a game at home, even without, assuming Burks can't play and the Ridgway can't play. This is still a game you feel like Arkansas should go out there and win, and it shouldn't be a nail-biter. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but you feel like Arkansas should go out there and be able to win this game.
So without Burks, and he's your best offensive player and probably the best player on the team overall. Without him, does this put more pressure on the rest of the wide receiving core, or do you think that this opens up an opportunity for, like we're just talking about here, to run the ball? You want to trust your offensive line, got a full stable of running backs, a couple of freshmen you'd like to see. Traylon Smith is really good. Does it put more pressure on the run game?
Yeah, I think it's kind of twofold. I think it puts more pressure on the run game to produce. But, Sam Pittman's talked about they want to be able to run when teams know they want to run, They want to be able to make those short yardage gains to get first downs. They want to, if they've got a lead, they want to be able to run some clock. Even if they're in a hurry-up offense, they want to be able to control the ball, because Rice is going to come in here and want to pound it on them. Bully ball, Sam's been calling it this weekend. They want to control the clock. Their coach, Mike Bloomgren, was talking about they were second nationally last year in time possession, so they want to keep away from Arkansas, limit their possessions, and if they can get some quick 3-and-outs, that could be tough for Arkansas if Rice can hold the ball on them. But you want to see the running game produce. You got this big, strong, veteran offensive line for Arkansas. But you feel like, if they're going to be successful in the SEC, then they obviously need to be able to block Rice, a Conference USA team. And also, I think it puts pressure on those other wide receivers to step up without Burks, and also on the tight ends, a little more pressure on KJ Jefferson, because, if you watch the Missouri game last year, as expected, he got the ball to Burks a lot. Well, if he doesn't have him as an option, he's got to find other guys to get the ball too.
And with KJ Jefferson, we know that he's going to scramble. He's going to use his feet. He's going to run the ball. How many rush attempts for KJ Jefferson do you think is too many for Saturday's game?
Well, if you're talking about called or
maybe some actual called runs.
Well, and there'll be some run pass options too, I'm sure. Maybe some option plays where he gets on the edge and keep it or pitch it. I would think, he's a big, strong guy, and he's a good runner, and you want to take advantage of that. But he's also your starting quarterback. You don't want him to get too beat up. So, although as big as he is, he may be laying out some pain on some of the defenders. If I'm a cornerback or something, if KJ gets out on the edge, I don't know. I want to see him barreling down on me, but I would say maybe 10 called runs, something like that. He may end up, carrying the ball more. A lot of it is dictated by what Rice is doing. If they're dropping a lot of guys in coverage and guys aren't open as much, and like I say, you don't have Burks there, maybe KJ runs. What I don't want to see, and I wouldn't think Arkansas fans and the coach staff would want to see is, you got to call pass plays and then he gives up on them too fast and just tucks it and runs. I mean, sometimes that's what you need to do. Make a play with your legs, make sure you don't take a sack, don't just throw it away, get some positive yardage with your legs. But, I'd like to see him show some patience in the pocket. I think they can probably protect him pretty well. We'll see. But, I would think about 10 called runs would maybe be good. Obviously, it depends on the flow of the game.
Yeah, and staying with KJ Jefferson, the accuracy has been called into question all summer long. We heard earlier in the show from Sam Pittman talking about how he's now how much improved he feels about KJ Jefferson's accuracy in his passing game. Do you think that anything above 50% is golden, or do you think that to kind of calm fans down on the accuracy questions, he's got to be closer to 58, 60?
I don't know if I'd call over 50 golden. I think certainly in this first game, over 50%. It depends. Are you getting like downfield passes? Or if you're doing a lot of short passes, obviously you want to see that percentage a lot higher than 50. But if you're taking some shots downfield and hitting some of those, I think 50%'s not bad. I wouldn't call it golden. I'd say maybe acceptable, especially if you're hitting some downfield plays.
Bob, I wasn't going to mention this, but I don't know if it was you or Tom that put it in your recent practice notebook. I had to laugh out loud when I'm going through the Arkansas game notes, and there I see in the game notes from the last box score of the Arkansas-Rice series, which goes back now. This is the last time they played is 1991. And they're on the old box score in which you can see the 3-hole punch piece of paper taken out in order to photocopy it is a 30-year-old coffee stain on the box score in the game notes. And I just had to chuckle about that because I just don't see coffee stains in game notes unless they're my coffee stains.
Yeah, that was a note Tom did. I assume it's, coffee. I don't know, maybe it's Coca-Cola or something, but a soda or something. Yeah, it was kind of funny to see it. And you don't know if that was something done on game day or if that was something. But it probably was just an old little stain they got there. And, it was kind of quaint seeing that old time, box score, the fact the game was under 3 hours. And,
what? Those are actual things? You can play a football game under 3 hours?
Yeah.
No.
Some baseball games actually played in less than 2.5.
Yeah, well, it depends. It'd be nice if this one was under 3 hours. I don't know that it's going to be. But Rice is definitely going to try to control the ball and shorten it and run. I mean, shorten the game in terms of, possessions for Arkansas. So Arkansas is going to need to strike, when they have their shots because, I think Arkansas's defense will play pretty well, but Rice has a lot of veteran guys back. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Luke McCaffrey, the transfer from Nebraska, who was at Louisville for, I guess you'd say, a cup of coffee over the winter.
It's a nice way to wrap that up there with a cup of coffee. What did you think of the phraseology that Coach Mike Bloomgren, I almost called him Mike Holmgren, Mike Bloomgren used the other day? I know this must have caught your attention when he referred to intellectual brutality, which I guess would be reserved for places like, I don't know, Rice and Stanford, where Bloomgren's coached before.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I talked to him last week. He was really nice, and then he did a Zoom with a lot of media. But, yeah, he used that. When he first said it, and, of course, it was just me and him talking, so you can go back. He said it, and then he was talking about something else. I went back and said, now, what was it you said there? Intellectual what? He said brutality, and I kind of chuckled because, like you say, obviously Rice is a top-notch academic school. And so I know, like Dalton Wagner, when we talked to the offensive lineman, he was talking about, being violent. So I guess this will be violence versus intellectual brutality. I don't know. It should be interesting.
Brutality is defined, Drew, it's defined as the state of quality or of being ruthless, cruel, harsh, or unrelenting. So you could say it could be intellectual cruelty, too. That sounds like relationship stuff.
Yeah, but intellectual brutality, that sounds like something, they say something for Rice and Vanderbilt, Stanford, Duke, those Northwestern, those high academic private schools.
Those real book learning type of people that need the intellectual brutality. But one thing that I'm still curious to see how it's going to play out on Saturday is Rice going to use two quarterbacks, or do you think it really is Luke McCaffrey's job and Bloomgren is just kind of keeping that to the chest?
He indicated he'd play both, and certainly in an opener, you like to know what you've got, and you've got the newcomer. I think there's no doubt Luke McCaffrey's probably more talented, has a higher upside than Wiley Green. No offense to him, but he's the kind of player, frankly, that Rice doesn't usually get. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's considered by everybody, and I remember asking, because Bloomgren, he coached Christian McCaffrey at Stanford, and he said that Luke used to, be there and come to practice 9, 10 years old. And I said, well, did you recruit him? And he said, well, no. He was a four-star recruit, And but then they got a shot to get him through the transfer portal, and spoke very glowingly of what a great dual threat quarterback he is. But I would think McCaffrey would play more, but I think he's going to play both. I mean, he's indicated that, and I think in that first game, especially non-conference game, you want to kind of see what you got there. Because this is a huge game for Rice, and of course they're going to play Houston next week. That's a huge game in Texas. But at the end of the day, whether you're Arkansas in the SEC or Rice in Conference USA, what you really want to do is get your team ready for conference play.
Sam Pittman said he thinks that Rice might line McCaffrey up a tailback every once in a while.
He played some receiver, or at least he caught some passes at Nebraska. I don't know if those were on trick plays or what, but he's a really, really good athlete. And he's basically, like Bloomgren said, when he's running, he runs like a running back. I said, he runs like his brother. He kind of said, yeah, he runs like his brother, who's, an NFL running back and was a first-round draft pick by the Carolina. And he's a good athlete. And, now he did one thing about passing. He last year threw one touchdown pass for Nebraska with 6 interceptions. So you wonder, well, Arkansas can get some heat on him. Maybe they can force some turnovers. But he was a very good runner. He had like a 60-yard run or something at Ohio State last year. So if you can run that, get them yards on a play against Ohio State, you're a pretty good runner. So he's definitely, a dual threat guy. And I would think he would start and play more, but I would expect Green to play. And you never know, he might start Green. It might depend on where they're starting. Are they deep in their own territory? Are they, good field position, that kind of thing. But I'm sure they have packages for both.
Bob, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you jumping on as always. Looking forward to previewing Arkansas versus Texas next Thursday. Have a great weekend and enjoy Saturday.
Okay, you guys take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob Holt, Democrat-Gazette, sports writer extraordinaire, and he pretty much carries us for a full segment here on Halftime every Thursday. Hey, did you know that about 1 in 9 men are going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime? Unfortunately, all treatment options can have side effects like erectile dysfunction, urinary leakage, and bowel complications. However, there is something that can help minimize your risk of side effects when used with radiation therapy. It's called Space Or Hydrogel. That's Space Or Hydrogel. If you want to learn more about the risks and benefits of Space Or, visit spaceoar.com. That's spaceoar.com. It's brought to you by Boston Scientific. Wrapping up the first hour of halftime right after
It's that time of the year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all of the pro and college football action this season. Get all of the updated odds, props, and contests, including the online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest 200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Here's what you have to do. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. Take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager's going to be refunded for up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using the promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.